Hello my friends, and welcome to a very quick FS2020 phenomenon explained video, because there's something that had been bugging me for ages now and was actually the reason for me not using FS2020 online, because for whatever reason, well, I know the reason now, but I just couldn't figure it out, that I was not able to set frequencies normally. All right. So it's really weird, and there is actually seems to be a simple explanation. Although some people claim that it hasn't worked for them, but for me this solution did work. So it's check the frequencies. We have 122,900 on COM1 in the active and 124,850 on the standby frequency. All right. We also have 110.50 on the NAV1 and 113.90. Now, the NAV1 might not be a problem here, but it is actually on other airports with an ILS approach. Because what happened to me just yesterday, I think, or the day before, is that I wanted to set the frequency for my ILS approach and I couldn't. So I had to actually land the aircraft manually in marginal visibility because I wasn't able to get the flippin' ILS frequency dialed in, because every time I did, something went wrong. But let me show you. So everything is here, okay? And just to show you that things are working as they should, I can switch frequencies, no problem. Okay. Now I will take off, and when we're in the air, I'll show you what will happen. Okay, so I've taken off here from Orcas Island. Very nice scenery from Orbix. I got that for a decent price during the recent sales, and I will have to watch out here because this thing doesn't have an autopilot. I need to be careful. Alright, so let me quickly trim it and hopefully get it yeah, alright. Yeah, I need to tweak it to stay on the altitude here. Alright, roughly, just make sure that we do not get too slow and that we do not start descending. Right, so aircraft is, well, somewhat stable. That's actually very difficult here, the whole trimming process, but that's generally in the simulators, is difficult. It's actually far more difficult than in the real world, I think. But what do I know? Anyway, 122.90 was my frequency when we were on the runway. Watch here. Without me doing anything, it has switched to 132,700. I didn't do that. I didn't ask it to do that. Okay, so imagine you're flying on VATSIM, and from one moment to the next, your frequency changes and you're off the controller. So you want to go back, right? You put in a frequency, and what happens now is that not only did I lose my previous frequency, because the standby frequency was replaced with the 132,700, obviously, but it also replaced my frequency again with 132,700. And the same thing can happen, although not here, because we do not have an ILS approach here. The same thing can happen here with the NAV frequency. That happened to me 2 days ago. I was on the approach in Kelowna, also a nice scenery from Orbix that I got, and I wanted to land runway 16, and I thought I had set up the frequency for the ILS. I thought I had, and I couldn't get any reception, and I was wondering what the heck is going on, and I realized wrong frequency. Okay, stupido mio, I probably messed up with the frequencies. No, I didn't. So when I tried to enter the frequency, I couldn't. I had to land visually in sort of marginal and difficult conditions because we had some slight haze, and we also had reflections on the haze, which is actually fantastic here in the simulator. I have to really say, it's always fantastic, the effects that they have in here. And I made it, no problem. I was in the King Air, first time flying the King Air. And I was really pissed off. So I started looking for the problem, and I seem to have read that, and what they describe is that it has to do with traffic, with AI traffic. It's actually not true. It's not exactly AI traffic. It's another type of AI that we have in this simulator. The simulator not only has AI traffic that you can activate, which I actually haven't. I didn't have that turned on. I have live traffic on. But I wanted to see what happens if you have live traffic on, if you do get some traffic on airports, because they look quite desolate if you don't have any VATSIM or something. And because of this frequency stuff, I never went on VATSIM here with this simulator, because it just couldn't, yeah, how? I mean, with changing frequencies. There is a second type of AI, and that's your copilot. It is actually possible to have your copilot do things and assist you. And I turned all this assistance crap off because I don't need it. I'm delusional enough to think that I'm good enough to do this myself. And here's where it is. You go to assistance in the options, and there's this piloting stuff here. And there you can have takeoff rudder, assisted yoke. By the way, assisted checklist. I thought I had this turned off, but yeah, I thought I had this turned off, but it's on. But to tell you the truth, assisted checklists are actually quite cool. So I'm not going to turn this one off. Assisted landing I don't need. Assisted takeoff I don't need. And here comes this delegate ATC to AI, and AI in other simulators usually means AI aircraft traffic. No, it's not the traffic actually, it's the AI copilot. And what it does is when you use this option, it says here, adjust whether you want the AI copilot to manage communication with air traffic control. Yeah, so this is I want to fly with something like ATC, but I don't want to actually do it myself thing. So you turn this on. Now, whether or not that existed from the start, I'm probably getting old, but I distinctly remember that I turned all this shit off, including, by the way, the checklists. And when I finally found out where to look for this strange phenomenon, I discovered that assisted checklists were on and delegate ATC to AI was on. Although I'm 100% positive I turned that stuff off a long time ago. Could be that during updates. I think they do change settings when updates are put in for whatever reasons, or maybe some other reason that turns them on. I have no idea. Anyway, these two were actually on, and the last one, that's the contentious one, because that changes your frequencies. And we will see in a moment, because if I say apply and then I use the escape key to go back into the sim, let's put in another frequency. It's a bit hard to read now. Voila. And the same applies to the nav frequency. It will not snatch your ILS frequency from you because it thinks that you should be on another ILS. The thing is, it probably works together with the ATC. So normally if you have an ATC guided flight, if you set this up from the start, then that would probably make sense and it would work. Although I don't want to fly like that, but that's my personal taste. But not running on ATC and having this on is a real. So I was always thinking, what the heck, and why are they not fixing this? You know, because to me this looked like a bug. Obviously it's a feature, but it's a feature that is really stupid. Yeah. Anyway, for someone like me, it's stupid. Other people might actually love this option. I don't. And it actually prevented me from using the simulator the way I wanted it for a long time, because I just couldn't figure it out. And I only found 2 entries in the forum, and they were kind of titled in a way that it didn't immediately hit me as this is my problem. Yeah. Except one, and that fella had never received an answer. So after a long time looking around, I finally discovered the second article that kind of described the solution. And yeah, it might already be well known, but I just discovered it now. Yeah, so now you know too. The phenomenon of changing frequencies can be turned off quite easily once you know where. Okay, that's it. Until next time.